What hypersensitive mental state often give large crowds of people the impetus to destroy, lie, steal, and hate, often without even knowing the reasons why? With this question in mind, let's look into why large crowds have abundant energy that can quickly become misdirected and lead to actions that not only cause harm to participants, but also to innocent bystanders, which could include someone you know, or even you. Welcome to 4C's One Family. It's no secret that most people prefer socializing with people who share things in common with them. When people partake in group activities with members of a group who share things in common with them, such as philosophies, education, community, and language, they immediately begin to feel that they are somehow almost spiritually connected. A type of brotherhood or sisterhood is formed, bringing them closer together. At some point, members of these groups may become evangelized and later begin to propagate their beliefs or faith outside their sphere of influence. Being a member of a political, social, or religious group can amplify or exaggerate an individual's optimistic and pessimistic sense of safety, security, and pride, and commonality. However, along with the chances of an individual remaining unnoticed, but remaining part of a group, in some extreme cases, being part of a large group can raise confusion and suspicion towards a perceived enemy. In the real world, why a group of people has gathered becomes more important than the fact that they have assembled. If social or political leaders see a group as a destructive social contributor, they will most likely define it negatively. On the other hand, if a group is defined as not threatening social norms, it may most likely be defined in favorable terms. In large concentrated crowds, individuals feel empowered or invincible, and emotional sensations become more potent than a hallucinogenic drug, causing reactions that can lead to dangerous outcomes. How people on the outside describe an assembly of people is often a precursor that shows what they think of the group. Groups of people may be defined by their members' ethnicity, religion, political affiliation, sexual orientation, and affiliation with other groups. The defining list is endless. For example, a group from a community with a common background and belief system celebrating a traditional or historical event is defined as a parade. Now, this group would likely be seen as a peaceful or non-violent group and not threatening to the general public. However, if the gatherings highlight a disagreement and become loud or violent, it may most likely be defined as a mob. Groups must share a common mentality to remain organized and united. When a gathering of people is described as a mob, it refers to the group as being prone to displaying violent behavior or mob mentality. Mob mentality or herd mentality describes the characteristics of large groups of people who adopt destructive methods to influence people to build and maintain power forcefully. These terms have negative connotations because the word mob usually creates an image of aggression and chaos. These negative definitions describe crowds with unpredictable, violent, and hysterical behavior. Now, crowd behavior described in this way can be observed during large public protests that result in riots. Sudden or unpredictable, unscheduled occurrences perceived as harmful or dangerous, like an explosion, can cause people to react in unforeseen, self-destructive ways because a mass group can't be easily managed or controlled. The reaction of large crowds of people being startled may result in an unexpected stampede, destruction of property, trampling of people, and fatalities. Now, looking back in history, we can see how large groups promoted mayhem to topple governments, institutions, and private establishments. At the same time, we can also observe how the actions of large groups, they created movements that led to positive, progressive social and political changes. So the next time you see or participate in an event that has gathered and become a large crowd, step back and analyze the situation. Ask yourself why this event is occurring and whether your participation will make a positive, progressive difference for even people who aren't participating and have different opinions than your own. Ensure that your participation is legal and not remotely controlled by hidden entities with nefarious motives. The truth is that mob mentality is a natural occurrence in people and even animals. Topics and events are used by advertisers, politicians, political pundits, public relation firms, and social media influencers to create a mob mentality in their audience that help them promote their financial, social, political objectives and even strengthen their economic and social capital. The unfortunate thing is that selfish advertisers and promotions often sound like propaganda that causes groups of people looking for a solution or a shortcut to be manipulated to make rash decisions that often cause them financial and legal complications or even physical harm. Before continuing our day, I would like to ask you a few questions. Mention a gathering you participated in that was focused on creating public awareness, and for what? Mention a situation where people gathered for a cause helped improve a situation. Mention a large gathering that later caused mayhem and why you think it ended the way it did. What topics or events could cause people to develop a mob mentality? What types of groups can be disguised to promote behavior that cause a mob mentality? Be aware that nefarious outside sources often implant elements into the society of a nation they perceive as their adversary to disrupt its cultural, social, political, economic core, and cults can become their manufactured, organic, or imported tool to accelerate their destructive goals. If you have found what we have to offer of any value, please click on the subscribe and bell buttons below to keep up to date with our current episodes. And if you're listening to our podcast, please subscribe and help us spread the word that we have much more in common than we think. We're very interested to hear what you have to say. For 4C's One Family, I'm James Thomas in Taipei, Taiwan. And remember to stay strong, safe, and healthy wherever you are in the world.